Greetings, my name is Trevor.
Yep. I'm Josh.
Splendid to see you.
I'm Josh. We're all beautifully here downstairs in this beautiful place that we can't say anything about.
Yeah, we can't disclose.
Yeah.
I'm Fausto.
We're all
I was
terrorists.
gonna say unfortunately next, but never mind. Okay. So it's fine because we're just testing the shit. But like when I interviewed Rebecca and Ashley, I wasn't sure what to call it, and I was just gonna go with it. And Rebecca was like, tacos are yummy or some shit, and I didn't understand what she said.
Mm-hmm.
So she said tacos are yummy, and that kind of stuck. But I misheard everything, and I said tacos ayami are yummy. So
Tacos
eventually,
are yummy.
yeah, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck to do with that, but that's what she came up with.
All right.
Maybe that'll be a separate thing, but what do you guys want to go for?
We could have we
I
could
was
have
like-
a political subsection
Yeah, I know,
for
right?
Josh and call it part-time politically correct.
He's never politically correct, so that's bullshit.
I'd call it politically incorrect, but
Exactly.
then poll would come
Yeah.
because that's the name.
I feel like someone
That's the
else
name of
had.
their board.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a 4chan board. It's called,
Oh, yeah. No, not a good idea.
And they're all neo-Nazis, so
Well, that helps.
like legit. Well, no, some of it's ironic neo-Nazis.
when I
Good stuff.
when I came up with this idea maybe a year or two ago, I spoke to other friends and they came up with the wackest names I've ever heard, and they were like Chatterbox, and I was like,
That's fucking terrible.
Stop it. And I was like, why are you, like, I was so angry
What,
because
we
it's
hate?
impersonal. It was like via
Yeah.
text.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are you trying to do? Like, are you making fun of what I'm trying to create?
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't kidding.
Yeah,
Like,
fuck
and then
you,
their
dude.
explanation was, because they're scholars or whatever, their
Yeah.
explanation was like, well, I wanted to create a really crappy name because then that would be the opposite of what the actual content is. And I was like, but we don't know that
Exactly.
yet.
You can't,
Like, we don't.
you can't pump
like,
fake.
Yeah,
It might be a
like,
shit
I don't-
shot. Like,
Yeah, because I mean, they're really smart. They both went to college and whatever. But
for sure,
I
don't
didn't-
pump fake.
I didn't know what we were going to really
Can't
talk
do that.
about. I just wanted to do something that was like not really political, but things that affect us and our age range,
Yeah.
and then talk about that, and then talk about things that I feel are necessary. But I didn't want to just be the creator. Like, I didn't just want to say. I didn't want to be like, this is my podcast, but you're in it. Like, because
Yeah.
it's not.
It's weird.
You know what I mean? And so,
Yeah.
but then when I gave them any free reign, they were just like coming up with the shittiest names ever.
Yeah.
They were like the talk bots, the
Fuck off.
chat, like, yeah, they were like, I
Fucking-
forgot what it was. It was like this. I was like, what
Chatting
is-
shit.
Yeah, yeah. I
With
was
Trevor
like,
Fausto,
I was
yeah.
like, no one is ever gonna fucking take it seriously. Like,
Yeah.
no one is gonna give a shit. They're gonna be like, that's
You can
someone fake.
make it
But-
you can kind of work off of that.
But they're
idea.
super smart, and I really like them. But I was like, no. I was like, okay, yeah,
Well,
maybe.
Just because you're super smart doesn't mean that you have a good idea. all the time. Like, super smart people can be really fucking stupid.
It's like
I know.
fish are really bad at climbing trees.
Yeah.
You know, but
Because they're
Like, you can have like for example, here's a perfect example, and this is random, okay? Alan Turing is one of the smartest people ever, okay? Like super intelligent, created the modern computing. He decoded fucking Enigma, which is like the hardest code ever, and won the fucking Second World War. But he had like no concept of how to be like
social.
a person.
Yeah.
He was just like super genius, man. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So yeah, just because you're fucking smart doesn't mean that you know what the fuck's going on. Like, you know how to be like cool. Oftentimes the opposite. You're like the least cool people.
Yeah, apparently. Actually, that was something I wanted to talk about at one point, but it doesn't really make sense now.
We can,
But I could have segued into that.
We can
but
talk about
whatever.
anything.
Well, I think I was talking to you, or I was talking to Rebecca, no, but we didn't actually record this. I was telling her how Rebecca's a friend of ours. She's a filmmaker, and Ashley was the first pre-mock recording I did. She's also a filmmaker, in case anyone who's ever going to hear this understands or cares. But they probably won't. So basically, we were talking, and I was like, I've never had a cool moment ever. Like, I've never felt like, oh, this is it. Like, I just had a badass moment. Like, my first day of high school, I busted my ass in front of everyone outside of like, as they were going to the buses.
You've got the opposite.
This is like the 300, 400 kids
all seeing you fall.
all seeing me slide down mud on my ass.
That is the worst.
And I was like, it's like, I feel like bad TV shows were based on my life without even
like
trying.
literally, like it's like That is like, I can't think of a worse way.
Yeah, and it
to
was the
start a
first day of
year.
school, but it
Yeah.
wasn't the beginning, it was the end of the day. So it's like,
Yeah.
everything's fine. I'm okay.
We did it.
We did
survived
it.
the
Yeah.
first, and
I
then
was
you
like,
just
I'm
get,
going on the bus. And then I was
Yeah.
like, oh shit, there's so many
And
people.
you
Let
just
me move
get
this
shit
way.
on.
And yeah, literally, because that's what it looked like. Because it looked like I was carrying shit.
It
It was
looks
really
like you
bad.
shit your
So
pants,
there was
dude.
that, and there was, yeah, it was great. So then I didn't go to
It's
school.
like the double whammy.
And school, I think the first day of school was Thursday. For whatever reason, it just
That's weird.
happened. So I didn't go Friday, and then I came back on Monday. And then as I'm like, oh God, thank God. I come back, and then two kids like, do you remember when that kid busted his ass? And I was like, no, but I didn't say anything.
Killing myself.
It was so bad. And then like years later, as an adult, I guess semi-adult, like 20 something, I had coworkers that wanted to, they smoke weed or whatever, and so they like told me they were like, yeah, like, just hang out at my house. I'm like, whatever. And so these guys were super cool to me anyway. Like they were both really nice, and they were both really scary and really funny, and they had like great track records with like pulling women or whatever. And then I'm sitting down in their house, like I'm sitting down in one of their apartments or whatever, and I smoked for the first time, and I'm just like, I'm cold because it's cold in the house.
Mhm.
And so I'm cold, and the guy's like, shut the fuck up. You didn't take heroin. And I'm like, no, dude, it's like the window is fucking like, can you fucking close the window? And then I'm like, it's starting to get to me, like, because I'm not, I'm wearing like a t-shirt, or whatever. And it was like somewhere towards wintertime, I don't know. And I'm like, it's starting to get to me. I'm starting to feel something.
Yeah.
I'm starting to feel high or whatever. And then I look, and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here? And then I look at the right, and these two losers are fucking fighting over Yu-Gi-Oh cards. And they're both playing Yu-Gi-Oh, and I'm just like, wow, Fausto, even when you smoke weed, you're a loser. Like that's what I was thinking. I was like,
This is the
this is the most uncool moment ever. And then it was really funny.
I fucking hate that though. That
I know, but that's
when
that's
you
the
get high
idea.
and you say something that is like, okay, like that's hitting me, right?
Yeah.
If I was high and I was like, I'm cold, people would be like, oh, you're high.
Yeah,
You're
yeah, exactly.
I'm like, no.
No.
I can like.
You're like, I feel the temperature, you asshole.
Yeah, the worst is when people who also smoke weed. It's like, what the fuck is weed like for you?
Yeah,
Because when I smoke
really.
weed, I'm not like retarded.
Yeah,
It's not
exactly.
It's not like I'm hallucinating. I know
never,
exactly what's happening.
yeah, I never
I just
felt
like
that way.
I might misinterpret like things you're saying or something like that because it's not even like I don't understand you. It's I think that you're meaning something that you're not meaning. That happens to me. But other than that, it's not like I've never been high on marijuana, and I've smoked a lot of weed, and I've been really stoned, and I've never been like, "What's happening?" that doesn't happen. I don't like. I've never seen that. I've never seen that.
Yeah.
So it pisses me off that mentality and like that like. TV shows do this.
Movies do this. Yeah, and I'm like, what the fuck?
One puff
It's
of like,
it's the
of like
same thing,
oregano,
like
and you're
sex. Like movies
Yeah.
really
Devil's
fucking
lettuce.
make sex the most ridiculous.
Yeah,
like you will have
it's like
sex for
the
7
greatest
hours.
thing of all time.
And
Yeah,
I'm
you
like,
fuck all night.
And I'm like, but that's
non-stop.
I'm like, unless
9
you're a
hours of
porn
fucking.
star, that doesn't happen.
Even then, no, that doesn't happen.
I remember
I know a little bit about the porn industry. That for sure
Yeah,
doesn't happen
but
to
like,
people. Just so you know.
Well, I know that
porn stars
there have been like there because I've seen a documentary on it, or a few actually. There have been like contests, but it's not the most ridiculous thing. Like there was one woman that slept with like 100 guys, but it was like a controlled
I know what porn star
scenario.
that is.
Yeah,
I know
it
what
was a
you're
very
talking
like
about.
controlled
Yeah.
scenario.
No, but even then, the only reason she can do that is because she's a woman. She's essentially just sitting there while 100 dudes are jacking off on her and it's just they're doing the work. She's just sort of like sitting there
just taking
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's them, and as a result, none of those guys had a boner the whole time. I guarantee just huddling around a woman as she gets fucked by a whole bunch of other guys is just like really awkward and weird. And you're like, I feel strange now.
Do they line up?
Amazing.
Are they the
No,
same?
it's just like a big ass group.
Yeah, it's like
I've seen the video.
So
Yeah.
what you hear? Just gotta-
Literally, like,
Yeah,
how
it's
awkward
so
is it? You're all
bad.
just like kind of jerking it, just like talking.
So
like, that's
weird.
So
That's
strange.
like so strange. Like
Yeah.
I was there was this shitty thing on BuzzFeed as usual. Thanks BuzzFeed, where it was like people that are dating watch their like girlfriend or boyfriend get like a lap dance, and I was like, who cares?
I mean,
But I watched it, and I was like,
You
exactly,
watched it.
exactly. But I watched it because I didn't mean to. Like I have a Chromecast, and I was casting, and then I was about to turn it off. But when you turn it off, it automatically shows the video that you were going to watch next. Like instead of casting on your TV,
Yeah,
it plays it on your
plays it.
screen.
Okay.
And so I was like, whatever. And I just like I didn't
watched
really
it.
and I just was like, okay.
Those
And then I
things
had it in the
actually
background.
did-
Some
I don't know if
their
actually-
videos are way better than their actual written content because it's bullshit.
Yeah, but all of their
It's the same
all
thing
of their
with, like, the
content
Hollywood
is,
Reporter and
is
all that.
literal trash. Like
Yeah,
they're
I know.
one of the worst organizations ever. But what they actually I'm not even sure if it was BuzzFeed, but I think it was BuzzFeed that did this really interesting video where it was a couple who had broken up and the guy had cheated on the girl, and they got them together to just talk about
it.
It
Yeah,
was
it
really
was very interesting.
Interesting, and it was
I
like
saw that
yeah,
because it was like,
super-
how did? Sorry to interrupt you. It was like, how did each person interpret what happened? Like, how did he feel when he did it, and then how did she feel about it afterwards?
But it was
really
there was no
interesting.
mediator. It was just
It was just them in a
talking.
room.
Yeah, it was really intimate. It was sincere. It was interesting to watch because it's we have
To
so
be
many
fair, that's what they were trying to do with the video I was talking about too, but it just didn't,
But it didn't
come out to
yeah,
the same thing. I mean, it kind of
like,
did it towards the end.
I would feel really mad watching that. Like I'm
Really?
fuck. Like, are you kidding me? Like, why am I sitting? Why am I not hurting this person?
So like I would wonder because you're married.
Yes.
And so what is it? I know that a lot of, at least from what I've seen, I didn't do that, but like I know a lot of guys who love going to strip clubs and they're married, and I'm like, who cares? But at the same time, it's like a double standard because if the wife does something like that,
They'll get fucking furious.
and I'm just
They'll
like,
lose their shit.
how hypocritical.
Well, I don't like strip clubs anyway.
Okay, so
like
there you go.
outside of marriage, I've gone to strip clubs more than once, but every time it was kind of the same. Like I walk in there and I'm like, this is just fucking weird, man. Like I feel strange.
I
Like,
feel the same way. I
Yeah.
just feel gross to be
Yeah,
honest.
Yeah,
You know,
me too. Yeah,
I
I've always
literally
felt
feel
that
dirty.
way.
Like I'm
And everyone's like, "What are you, gay?" And I'm like, "Dude,
No,
what the
dude,
No, I
fuck?
just
Are you
don't like
fucking-
being
This
surrounded
chick
by
is not
filthy-
like she doesn't. She's paid.
That's probably.
She's acting like she likes you because you're paying her.
You call her-
like,
you
don't
call her
you feel
filthy.
It's
pathetic?
usually grungy. Everyone's usually drunk and.
Oh no,
like,
they're
out of control.
drunk because the strip club it makes it you have to buy drinks or they'll
Yeah,
kick
it's
you the fuck out.
easier.
Yeah.
It's easier for you to lose your inhibitions when you're already drunk anyway.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
So that's how they get you to spend what you're
I mean,
spending.
I
For
think it
me,
makes
it was
sense,
like,
but-
oh my god, this place just reeks of sadness. Like,
Yeah, right.
It just reeks of sadness and regret and just
Yeah.
just bad decisions.
It's like you go in there and you just smell sweat and regret.
Yeah, I'm like, and
Like sadness
you have this
smells
woman
like-
walking up to you like, "Want to take a shot out of my pussy?" I'm like, that's the last fucking thing I want to do. What the fuck? I'm like, how does this even work? Are you gonna pour it into your vagina? I'm gonna suck it out?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
What do I do? Like, what is this? And I saw her do it with somebody else. I was like, oh, that's not how her. She literally just like put it in the front of her panties. I was like, that's gay. But but at the
You're
same
like, wow,
time,
that's pretty vanilla.
yeah, I was like, oh, that's way less
Yeah, that's
intense than I
not
thought
what
it was
I
going
thought
to be.
that
But
was
either,
gonna
but
be.
also,
What-
but still, not
how
what I want.
anticlimactic.
Because you're like 45 and your skin is stretching around your tits, and like this is not ideal. There was like one hot stripper, and even then, I'm still like I just feel like what, like I don't want to be here. This is just fucking weird. And gross. like I imagine it's the same as what it would feel like to get a hooker if you're not like a giant loser.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
Like I would just feel so fucking weird.
Yeah.
Like I guess like especially before and after, because while you're fucking, nothing really matters. But and even then, it would probably still be like, this is fucking strange.
Yeah, it's
it would
really-
distract me,
it's
and
just
then I would just not be
yeah.
able to do this. Like, no,
It's
I'm
such
gonna,
a mental,
I'm gonna go.
kill.
Yeah, like how do you you get high on cocaine? Like, is that the only way to just fuck hookers a
Apparently,
lot?
because
Like,
that's what the rumors say.
Yeah.
That's what everyone seems to say.
porn stars do that. That's a huge problem in the porn industry. Is drugs and shit like that. But I was wait. Okay. By the way, again, I'm coming back to this. All right. Porn stars do not maintain their boner for the entire time. All right. They cut, and there's somebody called a fluffer.
Fluffer,
yeah.
yeah.
It's their job
Yeah,
to
I've heard,
fucking
yeah.
jerk this dude off to keep his dick hard.
Yeah.
That's fucking weird.
Yeah.
Imagine that being your job. Fuck that.
I don't want to.
Yeah, I really
Thanks.
don't. I was
I'm
joking with
good.
my
Is
roommates
it a
a long
girl?
time ago because we were like.
That's what I want to know. Are there male fluffers for male porn stars?
I'm
I
pretty
think
sure there are.
I think there.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
that there's like
Yeah, it's a little
I
weird.
don't think
unless
there's
they're like
And I know a lot
gay
of
porn
well,
stars.
no, I know a
but
lot
I
of
mean,
male porn stars get their start in gay porn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it costs. It's like it pays more.
Well, it's not even that it pays more. It's
I've
that
heard.
it's like you
I-
can't broach the industry unless you.
I thought it was
fucking-
like you
No,
literally have to.
what
get
I've
get in.
seen from like
Yeah.
a bunch of documentaries because I was like really. I'm always an aspiring filmmaker, so my friends would always mess with me and they're like, "Why don't you just do porn?" And I'm like, "No, I have some sort of. I mean, I'm poor, but like I have some sort of class. Let's hope, and like respect for myself. Like I don't want
integrity.
to. I don't want to do
Yeah.
that. Yeah, and so like I couldn't even think of the word, which is really sad. And then I just was curious about the sort of like the lifestyle and how you deal with things like that. And so I watched a few documentaries. There was like a really good MTV show called True Life, which was like a documentary series of like usually
Yeah.
one or two stories, and it was actually really good.
I watched a bunch of True
Yeah,
Life
and I
episodes.
think
They
they
usually
had
piss me off pretty-
they had
pretty
like
bad.
yeah, and
They're
they
really
had like
frustrating
a
to watch.
few in the porn industry, and it was mostly that there is both sides of porn obviously, but there was like a big sort of not resurgence, but like sort of like a skyrocketing of like straight men doing gay porn because they were paid way more, and so guys would just be like, I have to break in somehow.
Gay for pay.
And it was never like that's the only way they would get in. It was because that's how they made the most money.
Yeah.
And so like they would instead of because I think for filmmaking, like if you're a DP, you can get paid like $1,500 a day, or a director of photography, or not what you think, or
You
a
can't DP a dude. Well, you can't roll.
Yes,
You can put two dicks in it.
yeah, okay, great guys. But so like
Is this supposed to be
a
friendly
director of
I'm gonna say-
photography,
I'm gonna say
apparently
fuck
not.
up shit.
A director of
Okay.
photography slash or like any sort of director or lighting, because a lot of people think that porn isn't, even if it looks amateur, it's lit and all
Yeah,
that stuff.
right.
And so like the male porn stars would get like $600 to $1,000 at the time, at least, and like maybe 5 years ago, I'm thinking,
Yeah.
if they were straight. But if they were gay, they would get like 2,000 plus
That's wild.
for a shoot. So and then there's other things too. There's other ways. There's like a bunch of weird videos that people make where there's like companies that go and find attractive people that they see anywhere in the street or whatever, and they're just like, I will give you $2,000 right now if you jerk off on camera, and it's like,
That's fucking.
what the fuck?
Yeah, that's
It's
weird.
like really really weird. Like
Well,
you have to be really desperate or like you don't
pornography
care.
In
I don't
general
know.
seems like that kind of industry that's just like full of like really fucked up circumstances. Like I guarantee to you, this is gonna be heavy. I guarantee to you, if you've watched a lot of porn, you've for sure watched a couple rapes. 100%.
So sick.
100%. And not even necessarily like a how you think of a rape, like somebody holding somebody down and fucking them against their will and they're
Yeah,
screaming and all
yeah.
that shit. But I'm talking about like somebody who doesn't necessarily want to do it, but is doing it for the money. So technically they've consented, but they're not jazzed up about this. They're really not excited. They just have to pretend for the camera, right? A lot of porn stars come out of porn being like, yeah, it was super fucked up. It was super fucked up. You're pushing drugs on you. People are coercing you to do stuff. The more fucked up things you do, the more they pay you. Like if you do kind of those videos where dudes are like slapping you and like, you know, making you vomit with their dick and shit like that, like they're gonna pay you a fuckload of money.
Yeah, of course.
But you're getting abused on camera for their enjoyment. Like that's fucking weird.
I never understood why,
I don't like
because
that
like
shit.
it is, but like it's gross. But like I never understood why there's such a negative sort of setup for the woman involved. Like, and that was some. I think we both saw what Hot Girl Wanted, and they
Hot Girl
talked about
Wanted,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, they're making another one actually. They made another one. I saw the trailer for it.
It's another.
It's different
subtitle.
producers, yeah, and all that. It's not the direct.
Was that about cam girls or was
That was
about
specifically about amateur porn in
amateur
Florida.
porn? Oh, okay.
And so, but like I've seen other stuff, and I never understood why, because women get horny too. Like they like
Fuck.
to fuck. So I don't understand why like there was never, or I don't know of any women that have taken control and been like, we're gonna shoot it this way. Or, like I'm surprised about that.
There are.
I mean, I know that the new documentary spotlights some of that,
Yeah.
but
Well, I think there's a company called Girls Do Porn, which is
Okay.
literally it's like directed by women and the girl involved is doing it because she wants to do it.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
It's like I wanted to do this. You know what I mean? And then they're fucking down. But I think the best way to do that is probably like the cam girl industry. If you want to take control, it's fucked up because cam girl industry is essentially like it's like a it's capitalism, but your tits are the money. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like you're competing all against one another, right?
Yeah.
And there's literal scores. Like it's fucking weird, but some of those girls are making fucking money. It's ridiculous. Like easily making $1 million a year.
That's crazy.
Just shaking their titties on camera for money.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And they have these dudes that are just throwing
Yeah,
cash
they're
on
just
them.
of course, yeah.
Throwing cash on them.
Yeah.
What's it? Drew Carey. Drew Carey started dating a cam girl.
Really?
I didn't know that. Is he still dating a cam
I
girl?
don't know. I think they had a falling out. But, yeah. But,
He
yeah,
couldn't
Drew
afford
Carey
her.
Was,
No,
was,
I don't know.
Essentially.
What if that? It sounds really bad. I don't know anything about Drew Carey except that he is still doing that really tacky show on TV. What is it? The Wheel of Fortune or
He was
something?
also fucking a cam girl. So.
No, I know, but it's just like, can you imagine that if like when
Like literally.
like when after their date, she goes home and they just fuck on camera instead of actually doing it in real life.
Yeah.
Like that would just be.
Yeah, just for the show.
Yeah, just. She's like
winning a new tape of me having sex with
then
my
she-
girlfriend.
No.
What
I
if
mean,
his
like
face
she
shows
just
up?
goes
It's like-
home
it's
and
like-
just records herself like
Yeah.
cyber sex, and he's just like, but why can't I fuck you in real?
Like,
I just find the concept of that funny. Like someone's watching a cam girl and then, is that Drew Carey?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
So I just want to get back to the fact that no one
Like, and then
ever.
Whatever. Keeps jerking.
I just want to get back to the fact that no one actually talked about their uncool moment, and only I did.
Oh, okay.
So,
Cool
please.
moments.
I thought the concept was porn.
No,
The
we
porn
just went
industry.
into that somehow.
Yeah,
but
that just happened.
That just kind of happened naturally.
Uncool moment? Dude, I have a list. Like, I can't even conceive. Like, what are we talking time frame here?
Just
Wise?
anything that was
Anything?
really.
What's a real
What's a real
memorable?
shitty moment in your life that you were like, wow, I'm a loser?
Um,
Not like, oh, I'm depressed because this. No.
No, like several times through high school and middle school and elementary.
Please
Honestly,
pick one.
Okay,
Josh.
I'll pick one. How about this? How
Because
about,
I think you guys
when
are
I asked out my
really
first
cool.
girlfriend.
But,
Tell
okay.
me that.
Is that
Give me that.
that one's terrible.
Give me it.
I think I remember exactly what I said. So, you know, I'm a
Do I have to edit this? Make it like coherent? But probably not. Go ahead.
No, it's cooler when it's raw.
Yeah.
Because it's a real conversation. It's
Yeah.
not edited. Podcasts are better when they're not edited.
Yeah,
You can-
you have to edit an intro, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Not like an outro, but. Yeah.
So I was really awkward talking. I was like just starting to socialize around this time when I like actually was ready to actually ask a girl out, but I didn't know how to phrase it, as I am with a lot of things. We were walking along. We kind of knew each other, and I was basically walking her home, and she'd been flirting with me, and we've been kind of talking for a while, and I basically stalled for like 20 minutes, like figuring out what the hell to say, and I just like eventually just got up the courage to say the most awkward sentence I think that's ever come out of my mouth. I was like, I feel as though
It's already terrible.
Yeah, it's already awful. I'm
so
already
bad.
seeing
I
it.
feel as though
You're just gonna.
I'm in a comfortable enough situation to ask this particular question.
Jeez.
You
But-
used as much language
You-
as you
I
could.
know.
Yeah, you used as many words.
You're like-
let me
as they could
finish.
to-
You're
Let me
like-
finish. Let me finish.
Before I ask you out, I'm gonna give you a synopsis about
Yeah.
what's gonna happen
I'm gonna
next.
give you
Let me finish.
And my thesis statement? Fucking ridiculous.
I feel as though I'm in a comfortable enough situation to ask you this particular question. Would you feel comfortable going into a relationship with me?
Oh
Oh
my
my god.
Yo, this
How
is
old
the-
were you, dude? Were you like
Oh, how old
15?
was I?
Because like that sounds like you
this
have no
was
concept
16.
of like. Okay.
16, I think.
Yeah.
And then
Really
oh, and she said,
kind,
and she
which
said,
is exactly what I expect out of you.
Yeah,
It's
of
very
course.
kind. You're not even asking, do you want to date? You're like, do you think that it would be prudent to spend hours with me
So did you-
extracurricularly.
She said yes.
Oh, that's nice. Did you
It's
like
just
read?
not
Did you read a lot of like? I can't even say the joke 'cause, like
Did
it's
I?
really sad.
No, go.
No, but there's that like writer that.
Nicholas Sparks.
No, because he can't
You
write.
can't write now.
No. What's her name? Like what is it? The woman that wrote like Pride and Prejudice.
Oh, Jane Austen.
Jane Austen, because like it just sounds like you're
You
like in
literally do sound like that.
1800s. You're
Yeah.
asking her
You-
out. Like what is this?
May I have your hand?
Yeah.
Is it?
Would you mind if I
This is the
spend
thing,
time
like-
with you? Like what the fuck?
Everyone's told me this. Like I talk like an old man.
Yes, you do.
But I don't know if it flies over my head because I'm not aware of what it is that makes me sound like.
Everything.
But you
It's
say
your
everything, but
vocabulary.
that means nothing.
No,
It's
it's not
your
just because vocabulary is the way you
Okay.
decide to
So
talk.
it's like what words.
And you're like the way you use
Your
voices,
inflections,
your
your
inflection. Thank you.
cadence,
Yeah.
all of that.
cadence.
And I was like, what is this? But it's funny because
But
like
it's
it
also,
makes you
it's
more
your
endearing.
enunciation as well.
My
It's the
enunci-
way that you speak. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
because,
it's
like,
but I
you're-
like that. It's
yeah,
like this old-timey style of speaking,
like,
which
we
is
all
lost
think that
because now
because-
we're just like, hey, bro, what's good?
Yeah,
man?"
yeah.
It's like retard talk.
Yeah, I
And
know.
Trevor's trying to bring back real fucking speech.
No, but it's just strange because like I remember when I first met you, I was like, where did this guy grow up? Like, did he come back? Did he like?
He's a time traveler.
Did he? Yeah. Was he like? Did he
Yeah.
come back from the 1800s? And like he's learning how to be like a 20-something-year-old. It was so strange. But,
I
like,
think I think it's kind of that same thing where
no, because he's a loser.
I-
You're like Edward Cullen.
I didn't hang out with people or like leave the house until late in high school.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's-
I was
So were you
not
homeschooled?
social. No, I wasn't homeschooled,
Oh, okay.
but
No,
I
he was
was
just-
I was antisocial.
You just did. I understand. You just didn't
Yeah.
have a lot of friends.
Like
so.
I did. And my
That's so
parents let me
strange.
go and hang out with friends sometimes, but they were also like they didn't.
They were
like
really
to-
overprotective.
No, they weren't overprotective. They just didn't like taking care of other kids if they came over. They said no.
That's awesome.
That sounds
Your parents were like,
atrocious.
"Oh, fucking
I mean,
Yeah.
well, it's hard for me to remember.
But
it.
I know
just,
what you're
I just
saying.
remember asking a lot of times if someone could come over or if I could go over. But I also remember being a pain in the ass kid, and I would literally go off the bus
And just
just
go
because.
wherever.
Like, I remember one time with my I had a friend named Nick, and I wanted to visit him. Like, because I'd only visited him once, and he's just like, he convinced me. He's like, why don't you come over? I'm like, okay. And I got off the bus at his stop, and his mom is just like, what are you doing? She was apparently standing out there and like yelled at the bus driver. It's like, what are you doing letting this kid off on the... I'm like, oh, all right, I guess I'm going
sucks.
home. Nick was crying too. I felt
Aw, how old were
That's
you?
hilarious.
This was like...
Because it sounds like you were really young. You were like 12 or
fourth grade, something like this.
like
This-
okay.
Yeah, this was
It's like 11.
But,
I don't.
yeah,
but I kept trying to ask.
No, what am
I
I-
remember trying to ask my
What age range is that? I don't even.
Grade 4? That's like-
fourth grade. That's 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Grade plus 5 is your age usually.
Okay.
But I remember asking him all the
Natural
time. if I could-
mathematics.
Yeah, I
I don't
didn't know that.
understand.
That's actually
I know.
cool.
Like yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my friend's son is now 13 and he's going to high school next year. So that's why I'm like,
as
how
well. My
old
little
is-
brother is going to high school, so it's fun to think about.
Someone's here.
Well,
Chris,
is that our?
It's probably not Chris. He's never.
It's
Probably
Catherine.
like whoever Rebecca has here, or whatever.
So that was.
I used to do that shit too. I used to, okay. I walked home,
Yeah.
right? Because I lived like literally like 20, not even, like 15 minutes from my elementary school, my whole, like, for the entire time until grade 8. Then we moved closer to the high school that I was going to be going to, but I was still in elementary school, so the walk was like forever. But before that, it was a really fast walk, right? So my parents, I got out at 3:15 every day. My parents would expect me to be home around 3:30, 3:45, right? All the time. And it's funny, it was with a friend Nick too. I would just either stay out at like the park or whatever, just, you know, talking shit, whatever the fuck we're doing, I don't remember, you know, we're young. Or I would just like go to his house and like be there till like 5:30. And like my parents were like, where the fuck are you? And that's actually how I did that so much that it convinced them eventually when I was in high school to give me a cell phone, because I was just like,
Yeah.
I'm going to do this like anyway. You might as well just give me the ability to then call you and speak to you. So you know where I am. It's just easier, right?
Makes sense, yeah.
Because I'm gonna do this. Like
Well, I don't know. Like
I have no reason to be home. It's just you want me to be home so that you know where I am.
my parents weren't like that. Eventually, like maybe it was because I stopped being social at like around middle school, high school, because
Yeah.
I think it was the very end of my sophomore year. I actually started doing the theater
Yeah.
in high school, and like
That's
actually
kids.
like was hanging out with people,
Yeah.
and like, and I remember I remember one time I was walking out the door to go to this pizza place to meet up with some folks, and my mom was like, "Where are you going?" Like, "Oh, I was gonna hang out with some friends." And I guess like when I was saying the sentence, I was like, I guess I'd never said that sentence to her before,
Before,
and
yeah.
she's just like, "Oh, that's great."
Okay.
Like, oh boy,
Yeah.
I didn't think about
Yeah, the
this,
implications of
the
this, yeah.
implications
Yeah.
of this.
Okay, you wanna hear my what is my embarrassing moment? It's hard because I wasn't very embarrassed very often because I wasn't like that. Like I didn't care.
You're just really awesome.
That's
No, it's not that
great.
I'm really awesome. I just didn't give a fuck. Well, it's not even that I didn't give a fuck because I did, but it was like I was kind of mature in that way that it was like what the fuck ever? Like, what? No one's gonna fucking remember this shit. And even if they do, okay, okay, my life is ruined. No, it doesn't fucking matter. Two, I was the type of person that like, if I did something embarrassing, I would like, if people were laughing at me, I would go like, yeah, and like what? Like, well, fuck you. You know, I was like that, right? It's like, because fuck you. You know what I mean? But I think I had a couple. Um, I fell. High school cafeteria, and there were like 2,000 kids in my school, and like lunches were a lot of people. We had to have 3 lunches because there were so many people. You couldn't have everybody in the caf at the same time, right? So I was a drama kid. Often had to sell tickets. Um, so we had a stage in the cafeteria because our cafeteria was called the cafetorium because technically it was an auditorium and a cafeteria put together.
Oh,
Okay.
We were also attached to like a what's it called a community center, which is cool because
Yeah.
we had like a library and a pool and all that stuff that we could
Oh,
use.
okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But so I'm on the stage and I hop off it really like I've done a billion times before, and I just ate it so hard. Like I fell back, right? I hit my head, like everything. I was just like, oh my god, that hurt so badly. And people were laughing, but then I just got up and I was just like, okay, so anyway, like I just like continued with my life. Like I was like, yeah, I don't know. I probably have embarrassing. I thought of one, but I
I was
can't
gonna say
remember.
both of you guys had like falling down.
Yeah, but I felt I would
Meanwhile,
fall.
my personality is just like.
Oh
No,
no!
I mean, yeah, that's
here's,
true.
Here's a for real embarrassing moment. Okay, so it's grade 10. Okay.
Okay.
Um, this is my first girlfriend. No, not my first girlfriend. My second girlfriend.
Here we go.
But it's the first girlfriend that like I really liked. Like the girlfriend before, my friend dated her. Like my best friend dated her, and then he broke up with her, and then like 4 months later I dated her, and like this was caused like a little bit of a rift in our
Yeah.
relationship. But like
Yeah.
he hated her, so I didn't even get it. I was like,
Oh,
fuck?
okay.
Like he really didn't like her anymore. So I was like, okay.
All
So she asked me out, which I thought was strange. Yeah, she asked me out. I was like, okay, sure. I've never had a girlfriend before. This might be interesting. So we dated, whatever, broke up, doesn't matter. The girl I dated next was very good friends with my first girlfriend, right? Like they had the same friend group. Like I had a core group of like me and 4 other dudes, and
Yeah.
they had a core group of like 5 girls, right? So it
Sounds
was
like
5 and 5, right?
Yeah.
And we were all friends. So I started dating this other girl, and the first girlfriend, first of all, like she just like went ballistic about it. It was really weird.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I mean,
and
that to be expected.
there was no reason. Like it didn't make any
Yeah.
sense. It was stupid.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I'm dating this girl. I really like her. You know, I mean, I'm making it very clear that I really, really like her. She knows. You know, I've been to her house, met her mom, all that. You know, all that. Right? We've done the whole thing. But one day, and it was a day of like an overnight retreat at my school, involving like either like a club or something that we were both in, and she started to get like weird. Right? She was like, "Oh, I don't, you know, can we spend less time together at this?" I was like, "What?" I was like really upset. I was like, "What? Like why? Like what did I do?" Right? And then it was like a couple days after this, she breaks up with me. Okay, and it was. I remember it. We were in the library, which is attached to my school, which is always full of students and also full of the public. And like I don't remember exactly how the conversation went, but I just started crying in the library. Like I
Wow.
did not. I didn't care, but I did, but I didn't. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
like I don't know, I'm sad, right? But it was
Yeah.
also like, oh fuck, what if people see me? But then I was
Yeah.
like, but I don't care, I'm sad, it's fine, right? I was so distraught. I was so upset. I was just like, oh my god.
Hey,
Like,
that's
She just
rough
broke
at
up
that
with you
time.
at the library?
I just broke up with her. It was after school.
That sucks.
Yeah.
But we went to the library to
Were
hang
there
out all the
at the
time.
library in school? Hey, Rebecca.
Well,
Hey.
I was so distraught, right? But like, I refused to give up on this. I wasn't like, oh, I try not to be overbearing, but I was trying to like
Okay.
just get her back at any
Oh,
at
yeah,
any
yeah,
cost, which I did eventually.
Oh, well,
but
jeez, all right.
but it didn't matter, dude. During
how
that
many,
time
how many
frame,
people did you kill?
no,
To get
no.
because you're like at any cost.
I was like, I would have.
Did you stand outside her bedroom window with
No.
with a boombox? No,
I
I'm just
would
kidding.
have. I would have done that. Like I would have done anything, dude. I was so like.
You didn't really need to because you could actually sing.
I
But did you
fucking
know that you could sing
adored
at that
that
point
girl.
because you did you know,
Oh,
like,
it was
you
alright.
did acting and stuff?
No, I wasn't really a good singer at that point. Like I could
Oh.
sing alright. Like I could always sing since I was a kid, but like I wasn't like in practice. I didn't do that often, so I don't know. I probably was pretty
And
shit at that
own
point.
your skills.
Yeah, and I wasn't like I didn't go home and just like
So at that point,
sing
though,
and
but like, how did that end?
that girl.
Yeah, how did?
Well, she went to uni, and
That is a college or
well, no, that's
high
just
school? or-
university.
Okay.
Yeah, college. I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's
American
college.
university.
That's what
Yeah,
I
I'm
was saying.
Canadian, by the way.
It helps.
She went to university. She went to University of, I think it was Waterloo. Yeah, Waterloo University, and we still were together, and we still really cared about one another. But I realized, you know, we had talked about, oh, we should, you know, like it was really like first loves, you know what I mean? Like I was the first guy that she ever really like fell in love with, right? And it was really real, but at the same time, I was looking at this thing and being like, this is gonna sound like kind of fucked up, but I don't care because I was 19 years old and this was my first really really serious girlfriend. I was with her for like a year and a half, and or like 2 years almost, and I was like, okay, she's at university. I don't see her. She has to come home. You understand? Like it's far. It's like fucking 4 hour drive or some shit to get there. And I was like, I kind of like I'm 19. I haven't really like lived yet. I kind of want to fuck other people and shit. You know what I mean? Like I want to date other people. I want to have sex with other people. This is I'm gonna have sex with one person my entire life.
Yeah.
I don't think so, right? So I decided that I had to break up with her. And I was talking to my friends about it and shit, and they were like, "Well, that's kind of selfish." I was like, "Yeah, but 19 is I think the time to be selfish." And it's not that I don't love her anymore. It was about practicality. I was like, I don't want to be in a relationship with somebody that I never see.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that I'm on the phone with constantly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm surrounded by um, girls.
Yeah.
You
I
know
think
what
I think
mean?
it's a frame of thought that everyone, well, almost everyone, like it will come into
Yeah.
thinking at some point.
Yeah.
It's
So it was
especially around when you're starting to go off to college.
Yeah, I broke up with her over the phone, which was not good.
Wow.
Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. But what I said to her, I didn't say I want to break up with you. What I said is I can't do this anymore. This is just awful. Like I'm just talking to you on the phone, dude, and you're surrounded by other dudes. Like part of it was like, yo, we both need to just like live. Like this is like strange. Like why are we doing this, right? But I will never forget the sound of her starting to cry right before she hung up. It made me feel so terrible because it wasn't like a cry. It was like like she just sort of like broke, and I was just like, oh my god, I'm a fucking terrible person. Jesus Christ. But I'm glad I did it because.
You are. No, I'm
because-
kidding.
Well, yeah, very. But,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm glad I did it because it was important, I think, for both of us.
Mhm.
And but like it wasn't necessarily embarrassing, but if I do regret doing it the way I did, and it did really make me feel really terrible. But when I saw her, like we met after that again to talk, and we both, you know, agreed that that was what we should do. But that was tough because
Yeah.
like I really liked her. I'm not a malicious person in any way. Like I care about people,
But-
and I care about the people that I care about, obviously, right? But,
Right, but there's
you
going
know,
to be those moments where you, I mean, I guess you proverbially fuck up,
yeah.
and I don't think there's anything wrong with
I
that
think
if
that,
you learn from it.
honestly though, I think that it's just it's sort of like a personal thing. Like when you're dealing with something, because you're the one that's dealing with it in your head, it's always going to be more important usually than with someone else, which sounds really selfish, but that's what it
but
is.
It's me.
Like I can't stand this person next to me. I can't fucking wait to kill them.
Yeah.
But that's not really what I want to do. I just can't deal with it anymore, so I have to like break it off or figure out what to do.
Yeah.
And so that's what happens. So you end up doing those things.
You will do things that are mean and like cruel.
But you're not. You weren't.
You're not meaning it
meant to do them.
maliciously.
Yeah.
It's just that.
It's just the reaction.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like I can't fucking do this anymore. Like,
Yeah,
literally, that's how
exactly,
it
'cause
was.
it's like
It was
it's killing you.
Yeah,
You're just
it's
like,
I'm
I don't wanna
talking to
deal
you on
with
the phone.
this.
I'm just sitting here with you on the phone silently, basically, and just like
That's a long time.
like I can't fucking
See
like.
each
Are
other.
we just? Is this gonna be my life?
Yeah.
Like
No,
no.
I understand.
You're gonna be at school for 4 fucking years, and that's only if you get your bachelor's. Like if you decide to go
Your
more,
master's or
and she
your
wanted to do
doctorate.
anthropology. I'm like, you're gonna have to
Oh.
travel. Like, I'm not down for that. I'm not down for having a part-time girlfriend
Yeah.
who I'm really serious about. Like, no. And also, I was like, yeah, I kind of want to
Fuck
fuck
other
other
people.
girls. Yeah, like, I mean, I want to live a little bit.
I don't think there's anything wrong with thinking like that, and,
Yeah.
and it's just always hard to break off something like that.
Yeah, and also because she did find that out, because I did tell my friends that kind of shit, and there was like, I don't know, my friends sometimes, because we were all in a huge friend group of 10 people, the girls and the guys, the word spread, right? So she found out that was the reason why I broke up with her, and she got upset about it. She was like, "What the fuck? Are you kidding me?" And I was like, we saw each other again at a New Year's party. One, she was laying it on real thick. She was wearing like a corset. You know what I mean? Like it was like what is this? I've never seen you wear this before ever, and you would never wear this before. Like what the fuck is going on? But we talked, and I was like, listen, man, like sorry, but like no,
How long ago? How much later was this? Like a year later, 2 years later? or
No,
something?
it was like we broke up in like October, and it was New Year's. So it wasn't that
so
long.
Like a few months later.
Yeah, it wasn't that long. But I saw her, and it was because she's a cool person, so it was amicable. It wasn't like anything really.
Do you have to leave?
No, I'm saying we probably got 5 minutes.
Or
Before we.
I started 4.
Oh, I thought
So-
it was 4:20. But,
The theater opens at so that's 30 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Fair enough. Just making sense.
Like 20,
I'll
26
stop
to be
taking over
exact.
with the story, but
No,
but it
no,
was
That's what you do.
I don't think
it was
You're such a fascist. No, I'm just
I'm a
kidding.
fascist.
That's an inside
Resident-
joke, guys.
Resident fascist.
One of our most hated
Humans.
co-workers, whatever. What here?
Uh,
Thinks it's fascist. I don't give a fuck.
I'm a fascist. I'm a fascist according.
No, you're not.
Okay.
You're like a fascist.
I'm like the least fan.
You're like literally, yeah.
I don't care. But yeah, it was that was embarrassing, the crying in the library, but also I felt justified, so I wasn't too embarrassed. I was really upset, man. I really liked her. Like it was the first time that I really was like, I love you. You know what I mean? Like yeah. And I was just like, oh my god, I'm shattered. And really, what bothered me was the fact that she broke up with me at the time because I was too like it was like too much. I was too affectionate. I was giving her
That's
too much.
such bullshit.
Yeah, but then what she realized later, dude, we were like 16 years old.
Really?
You know what I mean? Yeah, we were young, so it wasn't anything. You know, at the time it was the worst thing ever. But like my dad was like, yeah, I know how you feel, but you'll be okay. And I was like, yeah, I'm never gonna be okay.
I remember I saw one of my friends really fall in love with this guy, and this guy was like, no offense to anyone, but he was the most non-heterosexual person I've ever met.
Okay.
And she was dating him, and I was like, does she not
Like no.
know this, and like,
Yeah.
and she really liked him, but she was never like, I don't know how to explain her. I think she had like I think she's bipolar
Uh,
disorder. So, but I didn't know what that was at the time.
yeah.
And so like one minute she was fine, and then she was erratic, and then she was like kind of a bitch, and then she was really rude, and she was
Uh,
selfish. And I was like, like I started noticing because we had like similar circle of friends, but I always talked a lot when I was friends with people. So like we met once with him, and she wanted to bring me along, and I was like, I really don't want to do this because all the guys that I've met that are friends with my friends that are female are like territorial and really insecure, and that's like a consistent thing in my
yeah.
life. Like everyone that I've been friends with, if I've been friends with the girl and then meet the boyfriend for some reason
Doesn't like you.
doesn't like me,
Well, that's just
has
instinctive. You know?
has like, and but it's like there could not be any less sexual tension.
Oh yeah.
I'm like between
There's
myself
none.
and the friend,
Yeah.
there's just like
But it
literally
doesn't, to
none.
that guy, it doesn't
But
matter.
it doesn't
Right?
matter because they don't
he's
have any.
interpreting everything.
Right,
Right?
and
Yeah.
so like a lot of times they can't read things, whatever. Anyway,
He's
so
basically operating under the assumption
one
that you want to have sex with her. Yeah.
one time we were at like at I don't know, I was like 16, we we're at the mall or whatever, and then he's like, "Do you just like never fucking shut up?"
What?
While we were going down the
Wow.
escalator, and I was like, wow. I was like, if he wasn't her boyfriend, I probably would have like pushed him off the escalator
Yeah.
or like kneed him in the face or
Yeah.
something. Like it
Yeah,
was like,
like-
but I didn't because I didn't want to be a jerk. And
That's
then later
so
she brought it
fucking
up later,
rude. Holy
and she
shit.
was like, he was like, well, then we went out again a few weeks later, and she invited me. I'm like, I really don't want to deal with him, please.
Yeah.
And so she's like, no. And then he's like, don't you talk? And I was like, really? And she was like, you told him that he doesn't shut the fuck up, and she brought it up,
Yeah.
and it turned into a whole big thing later. And then I'm like, oh, of course, this is gonna justify his like, you know, his
Yeah,
jealousy
his
and all this
murderous
garbage.
jealousy.
But then later he broke up with her, and I remember I was talking to her friends, and they were friends with him too, and they were like, doesn't she know that like, she's like, dude, this guy is gonna leave you for like Billy.
Yeah, like you.
He's
yeah.
literally not. He's not straight. And then I
Yeah.
remember her way of taking it when he broke up with her. She like wanted to commit suicide. I'm like, what is
That's
wrong
how
with you?
she's really sounds really unstable.
And I was like, wow. And then years later, like when she got into serious relationships with guys, it was like all in, heart and soul kind of
Yeah,
garbage.
we,
And I'm
we
like,
are we are soulmates.
and I'm like, dude,
instantly.
we're like chill. And then even her family, like his family, you know, she got involved with his family, and they were like, we really don't like her. She's crazy. And then I was like, well, she has her moments. And then I was just like, you know what? I don't want to. I just stopped hanging out
I
with
don't
her
wanna be in
because
the
she
middle of
was
this
like,
with
yeah,
her, yeah.
because I was like, she is ridiculous, and it's just weird to see like the escalation of how people take things because everyone is different and like everyone can interpret something more deeper or less than someone else. So I don't know. I just kind of wanted to bring that up. It was really strange.
Yeah. No, I understand that. Yeah, that's like the like.
It's like when you're 16, you're like you've never felt what you think is love, and you're like you have
It's
hormones and
yeah,
and
yeah,
all
and
these
it's like
things,
it's
and it's just
prime
like
time, yeah.
it's like exaggerated and like extremely emotional and dramatic,
Yeah.
and that's it's
And I
really
wasn't even
sad.
really like that. It was just like it was just that girl, right? And looking back on it, she was really cool, really nice, and I'm glad that I dated her because it was a net positive experience. But like I'm kind of glad I got out of that because she's like religious, like kind of like weirdly religious. Like she got a giant cross tattooed on her fucking back. You know what I mean? Like between her shoulder blades.
Is she
Big ass cross with wings that said, what did
is
it say?
she part of like the Boondock Saints?
Don't be afraid, just have faith. That's what
Oh,
it
so bad.
said. Yeah.
We're not atheists here, but like religion is really creepy.
Yeah, religion's fucking
I was like,
she was like, you know what? I think you just should just like. It wasn't
are
like
your parents religious at all?
my mom.
Because it seems like your mom and your dad are both really, really.
My
Like,
mom believes
cool.
in God, and my mom likes to go to church. But my dad is like, God never did one fucking thing for me.
Really?
So
Wow.
don't give a fuck. Yeah, he never cared. Church has never been his deal. Does he still believe? Yes, I believe so. But
So he still believes in God, but he doesn't really.
yeah, but he doesn't
follow.
He doesn't fucking Like he's definitely not going to
He,
church.
he takes the Ron Swanson kind of.
Yeah,
Your
right.
religion is none of your fucking business.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, my parents don't really like it, but the thing is, I went to Catholic school, so um, and I was part of like church youth groups and shit like that. Like for a while, it was every Friday night I would spend like literally like 5 or 6 hours at the church doing this youth group thing, where we would like be the high school student leaders of kids who were coming into high school.
Yeah, I
You know
went
what
to
I
youth
mean?
group too. It was really cool.
Yeah, it was fun. I had a really good time. That was the reason I kept going, is because a lot of my friends went, and it was fun,
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
kind of let us have a little bit of free reign, so it's kind of like our thing. It was cool like that. And at the time, I was more, not necessarily devout, but I definitely felt the presence. You know what I mean? Like I felt like I was, doing something right, and I still do. I still think that what I was doing was right. But like I remember the first time that I was like, oh, I do not agree with this, was when abortion was brought up, and I was like,
Yeah.
fuck no, I don't agree with you. I think if you're gonna do whatever the fuck you want, like fuck, it's not like this may be a controversial opinion, but I don't
Yeah, I've
think
always felt weird about
I
that
don't
too.
think that the moment of conception means life.
The thing is, it's like I think that it's really sad. I guess obviously because you're basically like killing a fetus or whatever of like an
Yep.
unborn child. But like some people, a lot of people don't have the options that other people have, and that's what bothers me because it makes me wonder about the different because like really what I've noticed with religion is like we are following this because we believe this,
Mhm.
and so everyone must agree. It's like it's kind of like inherent fascism. I don't know, like
Yeah,
in a
it's
way, you know what I
well,
mean? Like
when I could talk about this for
no, I
fucking
know, but I will
hours,
just let
right?
me
But
finish
like,
what I'm saying.
yeah,
But it's always bothered me because you hear a lot of people that are conservative and it's like it's such a in the United States it's such a thing where like it sounds really weird, but like it's sort of like a form of marketing to be successful, and so like we have in Christianity, at least now in the United States and in like the political plane, they've been able to take one subject and match it with religion, gun violence, having guns, and being a really good Christian, and also abortion is wrong, and so like they've been able to put it together so
yeah,
like it not only affects people that believe in God or are really Christian or whatever you want to whatever Catholic, it's also something that like that they don't. What I don't understand is why these people that say these things and I'm like, well, it's a miracle. Are you gonna help that woman who was raped by her uncle raise her child?
no, of course
That's what
not.
I don't understand.
No,
It's
it's
like
a
it's
dissonance.
very, very hypocritical.
Yeah.
Why don't these churches that go
No,
and
they're too busy
protest,
fucking molesting the kids instead.
right,
Like it's fucking
protesting
terrible.
outside of
Yeah,
these abortion clinics
yeah.
for women that have to travel like 20 to 30, maybe 200
So
miles
it's
to
like that's
get
the
there?
last fucking thing that they do. Like
Yeah,
they're
like
already feeling
and
like
that's
shit,
I've
yo.
seen so many documentaries on this. It's
Yeah,
really sad, and like I've met people that have had to deal
yeah,
with this, and I'm like, why doesn't the church make a try to find a way to help these women financially so they can
It's
go
not
to
like you can't.
school and
It's
be
not like you can't
successful?
afford it, you
Right,
fuckers.
and that's what
Yeah,
bothers me because it's like you need to have a child. Well, like okay, now what?
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like it's never it's a very really like it's almost an insidious thing where like we're telling people to do something, but we're not following through. We're just because it doesn't matter once they have the child, it's after the child is born
yeah,
that the problems start.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, okay, I had the kid, now what?
yeah.
Like, okay,
Now
now I'm
I'm
gonna have to not go to
fucked.
school.
Yeah,
Now I'm going to have to find a job.
yeah.
And if I can find a job because I didn't finish high school, I'm going to have to deal with maybe getting assistance if my state allows me to get it, so I
Mhm.
can feed the child, feed myself, and find a place to live. Like it's not.
Feed child, feed myself, buy diapers, buy
Yeah,
fucking
and then
formula, buy
like
all the shit
those,
that
it's like
that
it's
the
another
baby
thing that like
needs.
a lot of
Yeah.
Christians and a lot of like Republicans, not everyone obviously, but they are very for pro-life. But then at the same time, they've made bills against people that have requested for food
Yeah.
stamps to give them diapers. So I'm like, what?
Yeah,
It's like
dude.
it
Well,
doesn't
dude, okay.
match.
Specifically, the Republicans in this country are not like they're just like their lip service. They're not like none of the things that they espouse to be values do they follow through on. Like multiple fucking, these dudes are fucking gay prostitutes. They're,
Yeah,
fucking
there's a lot of
normal
that, yeah.
prostitutes. You know what I mean? Like,
They're hypocritical. Like,
yeah,
super
they're incredibly.
hypocritical.
Of course they are. They're politicians, right?
Yeah.
But it's the Republicans are something real special. Like they're like this weird, virtue uh, signaling thing going on, but at the same time they're like the opposite of all of the things that they espouse.
But
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
that they say they stand for.
exactly. It's like the hypocrisy of a mega church. You know what I mean? It's like you're making millions of dollars
Yeah.
off preaching the
While you're-
words of a homeless man who actively told you to give away your wealth.
Yeah.
Like, how can you justify these two things? They don't make any sense. It's a dissonance. You're saying one thing and acting another way, right?
Right.
But I think it's the problem with religion is that it's sort of like it has so many problems, but it's one dogma. Like you have there's things that you have to do in order to be considered part of that religion. Now you don't have to be like that. There's plenty of Muslims that drink alcohol and even women that don't wear the headscarf and all that shit that don't subscribe to everything that's part of Islam. Or you know what I mean? There are plenty of Buddhists that have material possessions. Okay, like that's another example. There's that's always there. But the problem is when you start to try to legislate based on like fuck, I don't care. Why would I, in 2017, give one single fuck about the rules of people that were created by people who lived 2,000 to 5,000 years ago? It's completely irrelevant. There are plenty of wisdoms in religion in the holy books. But fuck, man, we should not be making laws based on that shit in this day and age. Like, we have to make laws based on what's happening. Like,
Also,
even
like
if
that's
you don't
kind
like
of the whole point of history is like to not make the same mistakes
exactly,
that everyone else has made.
exactly.
So it's really ridiculous because all these people and associations and organizations that are just trying to make things go the way that they want, which is way back, who knows when.
Yeah, it's like
it's really strange.
Let's regress.
Yes, let's make those mistakes again.
2 times.
And I'm like, wait, but what? It's so
Why?
strange.
Yeah, well, it's because God said so, right?
Right.
It's like, but
It's so weird. Like I understand that, and that's kind of what like my problem is with any sort of, and it's isn't the same thing, but like sort of when you're plugging something or because you're kind of a slave to whatever you're selling, sort of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But like I remember my mom goes to a lot of churches, and we went to one with her, which was like essentially a store. It wasn't a church, it was a store. You went in, and there were CDs that they made, that they bootlegged. They weren't, like, produced, and they sell them. They would sell food. They would sell memorabilia. And I'm like, what? They would sell apparel, and I'm like, what? Is this, like, this is a church?
yeah.
Like, there's a difference between, like, we're having a bake sale to raise money. Like, no, this is, like, you can buy the CD. So, like, my friend would make jokes with me because, like, it was a Hispanic place. And so she's like, empanadas are $5 because Jesus said so. And I'm like, what? No. Like, empanadas have never been $5. Ever. Unless they're, like, specialty, like, ginormous gourmet. You know what I mean? Like, it's so weird.
Was it? It sounds like
Well, it still exists. I mean, there's one. It's on Elm Street.
It sounds really
Not Elm
odd.
Street, on East Main. But,
But
like,
was it in an effort to kind of promote the community?
no.
No,
That's
it's
what
just
bothers me. I just told my mother that because like I'm working for a nonprofit, and I was like, Mom, why don't you guys sell food or make food, and then you can help what happened in Ecuador, you can help what happened in Chile, you can help, you know what I mean? Like, she's like, how do you do that? I'm like, well, you're a nonprofit organization.
Yeah.
You can receive donations in order to make things happen for your community and for the actual organization itself. But then I'm afraid that they're going to turn into a mega church eventually. They're going to then. Because it's one of those things. It's like I've seen so many things
It was
on
poison from the go. Like,
Yeah.
From the first moment, it was already wrong.
And it's one of those things that like bothers me because I'm interested in trying to create nonprofit organizations, but I've just seen the background of how nonprofit organizations are actually for profit, and they don't even give to the actual what they're raising money for. The whole thing with like every it sounds really bad, and like I am all for the Red Cross, and like Cancer Month, like Breast Cancer Month, is a total sham.
Yeah, they're
Like,
fucking
yeah,
scams.
they give literally like less than 10% of what they raise
Yeah.
because they have all these
And
organizations
the rest is
and
used to pay
companies to pay
fucking,
the celebrities that
fee
are
salary.
involved, to pay the companies that come in, and it's like it's just a way to make money. It's really disgusting. And then
Yeah.
you have like thousands of maybe even a million people going out to do like taking time out because they believe this cause is just, and it is,
And you got
but
people
the
fucking
organization is
dying,
stealing.
still giving money, being like, maybe, it's the hope that it's gonna
Yeah,
help me.
it's
That's
such a
so
sham. It's
fucking like,
disgusting.
yeah, it makes you like skin crawl. It's
Yeah,
so nasty.
I saw like there's a documentary called I think it was called Pink Ink or something like that,
Yeah, sounds
because
like it would be
pink is
called
the
that.
number, like it's not the number, sorry, pink is the color that the ribbon is.
Yeah.
And so this old woman made a ribbon. Her mother had just died, or her aunt had just died of breast cancer. So she created this ribbon, and she said that this is my way of showing hope. It went in the newspaper. This organization went to her. This medical organization was like, we love what you're doing, and we would love to support you, and we would like to make more. And then she was like, no. She's like, you're doing this for your bottom line. You're not doing this for the cause. And so they were like, well, you know what? We don't have to. You don't own it. We're going to take the ribbon. And then they had a focus group, and the focus group decided that pink was the more feminine color that made everyone feel better. It was originally like salmon, this orange salmon color, so that's what they went with. And now it's, makeup companies,
The
car
NFL,
companies,
the
the
NFL.
NFL, like yogurt companies,
Yeah, everything.
like everything. They did a thing with KFC. KFC's trying to promote
Oh, like,
eating for every fried chicken bucket you bought, they would donate like 10. It's like preposterous. There was this, and there's like a few organizations that go out and debunk this thing, where like they see when these ads are just blatantly robbing, for this cause.
Yeah.
They're like, please stop doing this.
Yeah.
And it happened, so like they made KFC stop. But there was a thing with, I don't remember what yogurt company, but one of those famous yogurt companies, not like a Greek yogurt company, but like Dannon or something like that. I don't know what you go play. Yeah, which is like the worst yogurt. And so they're like, for every, eat yogurt this month, and for every yogurt label you send us, we will donate 10 cents. And so like the woman calculated, and she's like, it's something like that, 10 cents or something. She's like, let's say you take the label, you eat it, you eat the yogurt, and you clean it, and you send it back. Let's say you ate a yogurt a day for a month. It's $40. You might as well just send a check. Do you know what I mean? Like, what's the point of doing this? Because you're just giving the money to
just
them.
send them $100. Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
giving them more money,
Yeah.
the yogurt company, and they're going to
using
send
the
$40.
cause. Yeah, they're using the
American
cause.
Express did something like that too, where they were like, for every purchase we will give you one, but it wasn't for every dollar or every penny. It was like 1 penny per purchase. So let's say you had a hotel reservation for $200. They're giving a penny. And so they're like, please stop doing this.
Yeah, stop. Yeah,
The organization was
yeah.
like, stop.
I
And I
think
was like, it's insane.
there's a couple of companies that I think brought that made that a little cleaner.
5 minutes, guys.
But like
5 minutes
Belega,
before the Belko experiment starts. No, I'm just kidding.
Belega makes these women's only socks,
Okay.
like Friday pink, and they say the same thing on the packaging. It's like for every pair of socks you get, we donate $2 to.
At least it's $1.
Yeah, but they make the donation when they're bought wholesale. From
Yeah,
the
yeah.
retailer, so
Yeah.
it's like at least it's a little more bulked. I never understood the send in label.
It's bull. It's just a way for you to feel like I know that there's something that happened in Peru lately, and a local restaurant here was like for every Inca I think is a Peruvian soda.
Oh yeah.
An American stuff like like Coke
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Coca-Cola.
It's good soda.
Whatever. And so for everyone that you buy, they will donate $2. At least that's. But I don't know what they sell it for. I don't know if they sell it for $4.
Yeah.
But because the soda is probably worth wholesale like $1.50, if that, 50 cents or something. And so but still, at least they're doing it, and they're a restaurant. They're not they're not a conglomerate.
Yeah, they're not
You know what I mean? Like
the
that's
fucking NFL.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's
And
kind
those
of
dudes
like
they're always the cheapest. They're always the ones who are gonna do the least.
Yeah.
They're just They're literally just doing it for publicity. That's what it
It's
is.
so
99% of the time.
gross.
They're trying. That's what all advertising is at the end of the day, is trying to manipulate your emotions to make you make purchases, right? Which is why like I hate advertising so much. Like I hate like the only thing I like necessarily is like trailers, because it's a movie. It's not, food or fucking lifestyle or something like that, right? It doesn't really matter.
It is a double standard because like it's something that they want you to watch, but like
Yeah.
at the same time, that has turned into, because really it's an art form,
Exactly.
but it's been abused and
Yeah, it's become an
manipulated.
industry.
It's
Become an industry, right? Yeah, it's a business now. But at the same time, like I'm much less weirded out by a film trailer than I am by like commercials
Oh,
nowadays.
so bad.
Like commercials now are literally just memes. Like they just regurgitate like memes at you.
Yeah, because they think that's what's gonna sell. I
Well, it's
saw
not that
this
they think that's what's going to sell.
atrocious.
It's that actually is how it works.
Yeah.
The less that you make somebody think, the more likely that they are to just go like, yeah.
That's so bad.
You know what I mean? I've talked to Trevor about this before. Memes are so effective at just like getting like, they're like a hook in your brain.
Yeah,
right?
but there's like
This relates to
I was
me.
watching.
Yeah. I love memes.
I really like the show.
Therefore, I love activity.
I really like the show, My Crazy Ex-Girlfriend or whatever,
Yeah.
or Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. And so I was watching it online on the C, which I don't really like the CW, but that's like a really great show. And so on they're not on Hulu anymore.
Yeah.
So they have like their own app, and you can go online and watch full
Yeah.
episodes or whatever. And there were these atrocious commercials that would come in between. And like I love Burt's Bees, the company, because it's like all natural and
Yeah.
stuff. But it's changed a little over the years. But then they had this really horrible, like atrocious cereal commercial. It was just like image, meme, music. It wasn't even. There was no thought. It was, and I really believe that they truly think that this is going to sell their shitty cereal.
Oh yeah. 100%.
And I'm like, first of all,
100%.
your cereal is already like good. Don't make it worse.
Yeah.
And then I was like, this is not. Like who paid for? Like who thought that this would work?
Well, it's because
It's like
I think
an
it's because
80-year-old. No, I'm sorry. Like a 60-year-old man was like, the children like memes.
Memes, yeah.
It's like
Well, that's what
it's
it is.
so
It's
sad.
it's like when CNN is talking about Pepe and things like that. Like it's a group of people that fundamentally don't understand what they're talking about, attempting to use it to their benefit. Like it's like watching a monkey try to use a fire to get like grubs. He's just gonna burn down everything, but doesn't it was a great idea then, right? It doesn't work that way.
We do have to wrap
We
this
do
up
have to
because I
wrap
have
this
to
up.
go.
This
I'm
was
sorry,
fun.
guys.
This was fun.
This was super fun, and like I don't feel like anyone's embarrassing moment was more than mine, but it's okay.
Yeah, yours is pretty fucking embarrassing.
Oh, I got a whole list. Don't.
Okay.
Don't
Well, we'll do this next
We
time.
can do one embarrassing moment
Per episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
something like that.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. All right, guys. Well, do you guys have anything you want to plug?
No.
Thank you for joining us.
I don't have anything I want to plug. I don't have anything.
What about this podcast, douchebag? No, I'm just kidding. It's not officially
Like and subscribe for
Dude,
more.
something that hasn't happened
Share
yet.
with your friends.
But so
provide feedback.
Put it on Reddit.
Yeah.
so Trevor is a graphic designer / voice actor / other shit. Josh is a really interesting person. He's writing a comic book that hasn't come out yet. And he's also looking to become an actor.
Not really.
I know.
I
but
could do that.
Probably try doing that. We'll see.
Yeah.
Anyway, bye guys.